Hey guys, it's me, Liam, owner of this whole freaking channel, and today we will be reacting to that old Boy in the Band, Boy in a Band song, Don't Stay in School. It's the iconic I Was Never Taught What Laws There Are song. And I just want this to be like a retrospective because I remember listening to this song so much when I was in middle school, so, his target dating demographic. um, yeah, let's just jump right into it. Okay, we're starting the song, right now.
I wasn't taught how to get a job, but I can remember.
Okay, so first of all, I'm immediately gonna just say, like, L. like, I don't know about other schools, but I know that my school has classes that you can take to basically help you get a job, to teach you how to get a job. That's how one of my friends was able to get a job, because they signed up for this class, and it basically just, it's like, okay, we helped you get a job now. Basically, the last, in fourth period, you just go to, your job. So immediately, it's just like, actually. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this crap.
But I know loads about Shakespeare's classics. I was never taught how.
The reason why in school you're taught a lot about literature and Shakespeare is that in the real world it does help to have a cultural cultural understanding of things, so that you can better understand when someone's bullshitting you. That's why we that's why we analyze so much text, especially when it's about social issues, so that we have better media literacy. That's at least what I've learned going to school.
The vote they devoted.
Dude, they literally, okay, I don't know how it is in England, but like I've also said, this motherfucker, I know that this song also fucking targets the American school system. They literally, like, if it's an election cycle, they tell all 18-year-olds at least at my high school, to register to vote. They have people there to register you to vote. So, again, this is just bullshit.
That time to defining isotopes.
I forgot what an isotope is. I think it's a chemistry thing? Editor, which is also me, put up what an isotope is.
I wasn't taught how to look after my health, but mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
They literally, okay, they teach this in elementary school, how to, like, exercise. They encourage exercising and healthy eating. And are we dead ass? Are we dead? Why am I trying to argue logic with someone who freaking dated a 17-year-old? Anyway, like, dude, like, what? I was such a stupid 13-year-old. I can't believe I was jamming out to this song when I was 13. Actually, I can. I was a fucking cringe-ass Nene baby when I was 13. Anyway.
Never spent a lesson on current events.
Again, I don't know about other high schools, but usually in English courses, we will analyze current event news articles. So again, that's more bullshit.
Instead, I studied the old American West.
Again, though, that's actually important. Also, no, you didn't! You're British! You're British! No, you didn't! Sorry. Again, it's important to know history, so again, you know if someone's bullshitting you. Now, I know that the American school system doesn't have the best track record with American history and just history in general, but I think, especially in recent years, it has gotten a lot better. At least in my experience this year with U.S. history, it hasn't been pure glazing of our government in history. We actually have acknowledged, hey, the U.S. has done some pretty fucked up shit. Anyway, it is important to learn about the West, especially, again, because it just gives us historical context, and, that's important. We should collect more fun facts throughout our life, so we know when someone's bullshitting us, especially when it's about science or, history. I don't know if my PNG tuber's covering it, but we're not even a minute into the song, and I'm so riled up.
I was never taught what laws there.
There's the clip! be so weird.
I
was never taught what laws there are. Let me repeat.
I was not taught the laws for the country I live in.
Except also, we are taught what laws there are. We are taught what laws there are, sir. Also, there's a lot of fucking law. Like, do we really need, like, an entire course, though, that teaches us what laws there are? Like, we know it's bad to, date minors. Apparently not this guy. We know it's, we know it's bad to kill people. We know it's bad to steal. Like, these are stuff that's ingrained in us from youth. Like, what laws, unless we're taking another class, which, by the way, you're also taught specific laws if you take a class that specializes in a career. Like, I'm taking a health science class, and we learn a lot about, what not to do when you're a doctor, because, yeah, you can get in legal trouble.
But I know how Henry VIII killed his women.
I was never taught how he killed his women, especially since I think he only killed 2 of them, right? Like, he divorced the others, except for the 8th one, which then he died before he could slime her. He might have killed 3 of them. I don't know, but I know that he divorced most of them. I wasn't taught exactly how, but again, I think it's important to learn about King Henry VIII when you're learning about religion, because the Church of England was literally made so that he could divorce his first wife. And it's important to learn about that when you're learning about Protestant denominations of Christianity. Because, in world history, I was taught about religion. I was taught about Judaism? I don't know how to pronounce it. I always pronounce it different every time I say it. Christianity, Islam, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and then there's the other religion from that area that I don't remember the name of. But yeah, I think it's important to learn about religion because it is a major part of culture. You don't have to study a specific religion. I just think that is important to understand historical context when talking about religion, and King Henry VIII falls into that.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced.
Oh, wait, he said, yeah, divorced, beheaded, died. Yeah, because 2 of them were beheaded, and then 1 of them died, I think, in childbirth, or at least shortly after. But yeah, he only killed 2 of his women.
Beheaded, survived. Glad that's in my head instead of financial advice. I was shown.
Again, there's classes that you can take. Again, actually, no, I'm not even gonna say I know that he's British, because I'm not even gonna say that, because he said, I studied the old American West, and I don't believe they do that in England. They might. They might. I don't know exactly what they learn over there. I'm not going to give him that benefit of the doubt, because this is clearly about the American school system. Yeah, but there's classes that you get to choose your classes when you reach high school, which is when you need to learn life skills the most. So it's your fault if you didn't learn this stuff. I mean, I guess counselors also could be like, oh hey, you should take this class, but
Sedimentary rocks, yet I don't know squat about trading stock.
Why do we need to know about trading stocks, though? I personally am not a big fan of the stock market. I think the stock market has led to a lot of bad in the world. But, like, why is that a specific skill? Because I feel like that falls into a career-specific thing, right? I feel like, learning about trading stocks, it's like a financial thing. Like, I guess we should understand how the stock market works, especially since it is what crashed the U.S. economy. Again, I'm the very American viewpoint, because this is what this song is criticizing. Considering that's one of the main reasons, why the Great Depression happened. At least in the U.S. I know the Great Depression happened all over the world, and it was mainly actually because, like, a lot of countries were relying on the U.S. at the time, after World War I. But then our economy crashed, so other economies crashed, because we couldn't support them, because, again... Anyway, that was just a fun little factoid. That had nothing to do with this, other than the fact that he has said stocks.
So how money works at all? Where does it come from?
Money comes from the mints, or whatever. Actually, I don't know exactly where money comes from. Like, I know that there's mints, and there's, like, factories and stuff that are owned by the government. There's 2 different mints in the US. I only know this because my dad's a massive coin nerd. There's like I think the Philadelphia Mint, which most of the time, at least on pennies, I know on pennies specifically does not have the P marked unless it's a 2017 penny because they were celebrating something that year. And then there's the no, not Del. It's a city, Denver Mint. Yeah. To be fair, school didn't teach me what money is based on, like how its value is based on stuff. I actually forgot what it is nowadays. I know it used to be gold standard, but Richard Nixon frickin' decided, no more gold standard. And then, that kind of fucked us up a little bit. Which, by the way, the reason why I know that is because of a frickin' Teen Titans Go clip. So maybe he does have a point. Maybe we should know where money comes from. But,
How does the thing that motivates the world function?
It circulates through the economy. Yeah, but that's a big criticism on banks, is that there's no money circulating to banks, so basically they can just, there's no value, and stuff. And that's how, actually, coins and stuff earn their value back, is that they circulate through the economy. That's why it's a dumbass argument that pennies, pennies cost more to make. So do nickels. And I think quarters as well, and dimes. They cost more to make. But that's so that they can circulate through the economy. That's why counterfeit money is such a big problem. Is because it basically poisons the economy. It takes money out of it. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. Again, though, I don't think school taught us that, but also they might teach us that in economics. So I guess I don't have the full perspective of this song.
Not taught to budget and disperse my earnings. I was too busy there rehearsing cursive.
I was never taught cursive. Actually, no, that's a lie. In elementary school, which I don't think elementary schoolers should, I don't think it's bad for them to learn any of this, but I don't think it's necessarily the most important thing for elementary schoolers to learn all of this stuff. I was taught cursive, 2nd grade, and then never again. I only really know how to write my name. But I know how to read cursive. That's the important thing. And also, I think cursive is somewhat important so that we can read certain texts, especially when it's signatures and stuff.
Didn't learn how much it costs to raise a kid and what an affidavit.
I was taught how much it takes to raise a kid because I'm taking an economics class, or not economics, environmental science class, and you learn a lot about human growth and human population trends. And we are explicitly said yeah, it takes a lot of money to raise a kid. So again, it just depends on what classes you take, and I'm not gonna lie, I think more people should take environmental science, because it has taught me a lot about the world, and I think the environment is pretty good to know about because it's so important to us. God damn it! It's so important to us as humans and stuff. But yeah, I personally, because of my experience, was taught. Yeah, it takes 20 grand a year? If not more, to raise a kid? God damn, I didn't realize I was such a burden.
Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
I think, again, it depends on, I feel like if you are going to be a mathematician, this is important, but also I don't think everyone should learn necessarily this. I feel like a math class that everyone should take is statistics because it is a class that teaches you when people are bullshitting you. This is my number 1 take. Teaches you when people are bullshitting you. But yeah, I hate to say I agree with the pedophile, but I do agree with them. Not, I don't think that this is a necessary requirement, but, just me.
That's insane, that's absolutely.
I don't think it's insane though. What type of insane are we talking about? Are we talking about Joker insane? I don't think it's that insane to have kids, learn math.
Absolutely insane. They made me learn that over basic first aid.
Again, I guess well, you're taught basic stuff, I think, in science classes, right? And then PE classes, right? And then in health science, I haven't learned it yet, but later this year I'm gonna become CPR certified because of that class, so that's pretty basic first aid. Also, I think this song does put a lot of pressure on the school system, which is notoriously underfunded, rather than the parents, who should also be taking part in their kids' education and how they should live through life. Like, do I think first aid's important? Yeah. Would it be cool if schools taught it? Yeah. But also, I think parents should be stepping in where the school system lacks. I think, how am I, a high schooler, having a more mature conversation about the school system than this guy who was like in his 20s, I think, when he made this fuck ass song? We're not even halfway through.
To recognize the most deadly mental disorders or diseases with preventable causes.
Again, it depends on what course you take. I think more people should take health science courses. But I know I'm taking a health science course, and we were taught about depression, depression disorders, anxiety disorders, eating disorders. We were taught about those, the signs, how to get help. I literally, in my phone, have a contact to a suicide hotline because my teacher was like, yeah, we're gonna put that, or is it an addiction hotline? Hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, it's a suicide hotline. So yeah, I literally have a suicide hotline on my phone, even though I know I will probably never become suicidal. I guess it depends on what events happen in my life. Because my health science teacher was like, yeah, put this in your phone. And so I decided to, especially since even if I'm not suicidal, shit, sorry, something fell off my desk, I might have a friend who struggles with that. So again, I guess, yeah, if you didn't take a health science course because you weren't interested in medicine, you won't necessarily have access to this. Except, actually, no, wait. Counselors are like, I constantly get emails like, oh hey, here's mental health awareness week, and here's this. In middle school, they had a mental health awareness week, and we sat our asses down and we learned about mental health. Oh my goodness.
And an advice that would literally save thousands of lives.
He's so fucking dramatic, oh my god. Yeah, I guess, like, if it was more widespread, yeah, it would save a lot of lives, but why the fuck are you harping on math? Oh my god, this song might be the reason why I failed math last year! Yeah, I don't understand why he's hating on math so much, though. Like, math, I personally find math confusing. I don't think it's the most important subject, but also I feel like that, again, we need more mathematicians and stuff in the world. We need more mathematicians, scientists, you know, that is a good career path where you need to know a lot of math.
But it's cool, because now I could tell you if the number of unnecessary deaths caused by that choice was prime.
Bro. You don't need to know prime numbers. Like, you don't need to memorize them. We're taught the concept. I was taught the concept in elementary school, and I'm forgetting if that was technically a middle school class or not. Because I got put in advanced classes in, like, 2nd grade, and in, like, 4th and 5th grade we were taught middle school stuff. So I don't remember if it was late elementary or middle school concept that I was learning there. But, like, we got taught, like, the concept of prime numbers, and then we played around a little bit with them in middle school, and then that was it. But, again, why is he harping so much on math, dude? I'm blaming BoyInaBand on why I failed math last year. That's it. That's my verdict.
Never taught present day practical medicines, but I was told what the—
What is practical medicines? Hold on. I'm gonna come back to this. I did a little Googling. It's literally just modern day medicine. Like, okay. Maybe I'm a little dumb, but like, again, like, you learn how to take care of your health, and I feel like in most instances you learn the importance of going to the doctor. And like, you don't need to know the specifics other than just like, you know, this is how you take care of yourself. Hey, go to the doctor. Here's signs of this and that. You don't need to know anything more specific than that unless you're in a medical profession, which there are classes that you can take to learn more about that if you're in a medical profession. And like, this song is like criticizing, like, oh, we learned these super hyper specific things that we don't need to know, but then we don't learn like the real stuff, except we do learn the real stuff. And now here's him like trying to say like, oh, we gotta learn every single fucking disease. It's just like, no, you just need to learn like, okay, my body's acting a little weird. I should go to the doctor, which most people have instilled in their brain. Yes, you should go to the doctor if your body is feeling really weird and off. I guess like we could dedicate a day to learning, to learning like, oh hey, here's some common illnesses. Go to the doctor if you feel any of these effects. But, like, that's like a good medium. I don't think that there should be an entire class. I mean, I do think that there should be an entire class dedicated to it, but I don't think it should be required, because that entire class dedicated to it should be for students practicing medicine, or, students that want to practice medicine. Anyway.
Listens, but I was told what the ancient Hippocratic method is.
Okay, as I'm taking a health science course, I was never taught this until I took health science. I was also taught in health science practical medicines. You learn both in the same course. And also, it is important to learn how far we've come as humans. Also, the Hippocratic method. Like, the only thing most people know about that is, like, the Hippocratic Oath, which we still do today because it is in the best interests of the patient to not fucking overstep boundaries and shit. Oh my god, I hate this pedophile.
I've got a headache, the pain is ceaseless, what should I take? Maybe try some leeches?
We're never fucking taught that. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? I hate this person so much. I usually don't say that over a song, but given his history, given, he dated a 17-year-old, no single human on Earth in the modern, well, hold on, there probably are some, no public school is teaching students to try leeches if they have a headache. No school is doing that. We're taught the history of medicine in, like, health science classes. We might be taught some if we're learning some world history. Learning about the culture of the time. And also, we still technically actually do use leeches for some things. I'll probably cut in and describe what I'm talking about. But, like, if you have, like, a, like, super bad, like, blood thing, like, not blood clot. Like, it's like a bruise, but, like, not a bruise. I don't know how to describe it, but they will, like, take leeches to suck up. Like, we still use leeches today. And you know why we still use leeches today for some stuff? Because we analyzed the history of it, and we're like, okay, bloodletting is fucking stupid. There's no such thing as fucking humors. But, oh, hey, wait. Leeches can be applicable to this. And that's the value of studying history. Boy in a band. Boy in a kid. Fuck you.
Could we discuss domestic abuse and get the facts?
We're taught about unhealthy relationships in sex ed. Now, I have a lot of qualms with sex ed. I personally was never taught what contraceptives were, which is dumb as hell. But during sex ed, we learn about healthy relationships. But, of course, that's in, poor interest in his case. Yeah, we don't necessarily learn specifically about domestic abuse, but we learn, oh, hey, you should go to people, you should call a hotline, you should do this, X, Y, and Z, if you are in a bad spot. We are given resources and knowledge to avoid domestic violence and what to do if we are in that situation. Again, I know that's not everyone. I know that the US has a billion different school districts that go by different rules, because each state has their own curriculum, but that's just my experience.
So how to help my depressed friend with a mental state?
With a mental state? Man, it must be so bad having a mental state. I stole that from the comments. I'm not gonna lie.
No, but learn mental maths, because you won't have a calculator with—
Why the fuck does he keep on— And also we learn how to use calculators. Like, this is such like okay, I understand that he's older than me. So maybe school was a little different, but also he's criticizing the American school system when he's British, so I don't give a fuck. Like, we're taught how to use calculators and stuff, and, like, we stopped learning mental math, like, after elementary school. And the only reason why we learn mental math in elementary school is to be able to do it quicker, so that we don't have to be over-reliant on technology. Because I feel like one thing that people miss, right, is that while, yes, it is good that we have technology, we should not become over-reliant on it, because it will diminish our thinking skills. That's what mental maths is supposed to be, or math, sorry. I started talking British because of him. We don't learn, like, mental math because, oh, you know, you need this specific skill set. No. When you learn something in school, it is to develop your thinking and it's to develop your critical thinking skills and your, pattern recognition skills and all that. It is not just so that you can learn this specific thing. It is so that you can develop your brain to do similar stuff. That is why we learn mental math in elementary school. Fuck! I hate you.
With you every day, they say it's not the kids, the parents are the problem.
Yeah? Yeah? It's not the kids. What is your point here? Hold on.
Then if you taught the kids to parent, that's the problem solved then. Or this advice.
I guess he does have a point. I could make a joke here on how he wants kids to be parents. Okay, but that would be purposefully missing the point because he's a bad person. But also, like I said, I don't think we should rely heavily on the school system. I think parents should be teaching their kids stuff. Like, I feel like, I don't know about real life BoyInaBand, but I feel like this specific version of BoyInaBand would argue that schools should be teaching all kids how to read when they should know how to read before entering kindergarten. I feel like he would legit argue that. Even though parents are also a part of teaching their kids shit. Like, that's like what humans are built off of. That's like the one advantage humans have as a species, is that we are able to have information and give it to the next generation, and parents are a part of that. Fuck!
It's about using a condom, but not for when you actually have a kid when you want one.
I'm sorry, wait, what was the fucking lyrics there? Oh, is there, like, actually? No, there isn't.
Not for when you actually have a kid when you want one. That's the problem solved then. Or this advice about using a condom.
I was never taught about condoms, and in fact, that is a big... Is he saying that we shouldn't learn about contraceptives? Even though we should? We absolutely fucking should? What the fuck, BoyInaBand? That's fucked up, man.
But not for when you actually have a kid when you want one. I'm only fluent in this language for serious.
In high school, you're required to take 2 classes of a language course, and you are really, convinced by your counselor to take a 3rd because it looks good on colleges. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm fluent in German, but I know a lot of fucking German words, and also, at least in the way that my school at least in the way my German teacher teaches German, I've learned a lot of phrases that are really good if I were to end up in a German-speaking country, or if I were to speak with someone who mostly knows German. Now, granted, German isn't the most spoken language in, Texas. Like, don't get me wrong, we have a large German-speaking population, but a lot of people mostly speak Spanish instead of German, at least for non-English. Most people in the state of Texas speak English because that's just the most of the US. Anyway, yeah, you're forced to fucking take language courses, at least in the state of Texas. I don't know about other fucking states, but...
Rest of the world speaks too? Do you think I'm an idiot?
I need to stop pausing. His face scares me.
To toast the solar over the political system, so...
What? Solar system? You do realize, though, that we should learn the basics of the solar system. Also, last time I learned about the solar system was in elementary school, where they teach you basic stuff and basic concepts of stuff so that you can further develop those skills in middle school. And in high school, when you take specialized classes, which I believe high school is the most important time to learn these. It doesn't really fucking matter in elementary school and high school. Or middle school, not high school. Fuck. But of course he wouldn't know about that because he's British! Anyway, also, yes, we learn about our political system. What the fuck are you talking about, BoyInaBand?
Like a typical citizen now, I don't know what I'm voting on. Which policies exist or how...
You do realize that people don't pick a party willy-nilly, no. I mean, like, this is mostly a media literacy thing, which we do learn in English. It's just, unfortunately, fucking social media. I'm not gonna 100% blame social media. I'm also gonna blame the fucking parents who give their kids a fucking iPad at age 2. But, like, fucking social media fucking fries our brains. We're exposed to so much fucking negativity that ruins our critical thinking. That is an actual political strategy. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's good to keep up with the current news cycle, but also they load us up with so much negative bullshit that we just get super angry. I almost said irrationally angry, that's not the correct term. We get super angry that we just sort of abandon critical thinking. But, like, people don't pick a party willy-nilly. It's because they're being fucking manipulated by our government. That's why they pick parties. Fuck. Like,
How to make them change me.
and also, hold on. Like, what do you want us to learn about our political... Like, do you want us to just be like, hey, make sure to actually listen to what your politicians say? What would the school... What I want to know what a class all about the US political system would look like, other than the shit we learn in American history and media literacy skills we pick up in English classes. I genuinely want to know what that class would look like, because it would just be that. Oh, hey, listen to what the politician says and make sure to fact check what they do. Motherfucker. Sorry. What the fuck is he talking about?
Voting on which policies.
Also, his fucking voice pisses me off. But that's just
how
me.
to make them change me. Oui, je parle un peu de français. So at 18, I was.
Wait, he started talking about fucking French. Even though earlier in the song he was complaining about not knowing multiple languages. What? Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Mais oui, je parle un.
Fuck. Motherfucker.
Political system, so like a typical citizen. Now I don't know what I'm voting on. Which policies exist or how to make them change me. Oui, je parle un peu de français.
No shot. He's fucking complaining about speaking French. Let me look up the actual lyrics. Hold on. Okay, so I looked up what the lyrics, and it translates to, yes, I speak a little French. I feel like this should have been brought up during the language part and not the fucking voting part. This song is all over the place. And also, why the fuck does he make, like, thinking motion? It's not a question! Ugh, I hate his face. Sorry.
So at 18, I was expected to elect a representative for a system I had never ever been presented with.
Except you are presented with it. Multiple times. What the fuck are you talking about, BoyInaBand?
But I won't take it. I'll tell everyone my childhood was wasted. I'll stare.
Jesus fucking Christ, he's so corny! He's so cringe! Fuck!
Everywhere how I was educated and insist these pointless things don't stay in school.
Anyway, is that the fucking... If you can't explain why a subject's applicable to most people's lives, that subject should not be mandatory. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Fuck you. The thing is, a lot of this stuff just doesn't fucking apply to high school. And the thing is, I understand. This song is only for middle schoolers, and in middle school, you don't really learn a lot about the world in school. You know, you really don't, which I don't think is that bad of a thing. I genuinely don't think it's that bad of an issue. Like, you should be learning social skills, and don't talk to pedophiles. Fucking hell, man. Ugh. 2 out of 10, man. Introduce these topics, yes. We should choose if we want to learn more. You do! Sorry. I got a little mad and banged my desk. You do! You do choose if you want to learn more. You do! What the fuck are you talking about, BoyInaBand? BoyInaKid. Nobody should be forced to learn something that isn't practically useful, innit? Hashtag don't stay in school. Shout the hashtag. Innit? Sorry. Fucking hell. I guess we gotta go to the Genius page now, I guess. If it's entertaining, I'll keep it in, but you know. Okay, here's the fucking Genius thing. Although many teachers claim that the school prepares you for college or at least a job, it doesn't. Unless taught by their parents, people will not know how to apply for and get a job. Again, high schools actually do give, like, I forgot to mention this, I also get fucking weekly emails. Not weekly, but like monthly emails like, oh hey, this place is hiring, you should apply for this place. So, again, like, it's not a formal class, but they are giving you the resources. However, just about everywhere, there's a point in science class, either in biology or life science, where students are required to dissect a frog. This skill is inapplicable in the real world. It teaches you about anatomy. it teaches you about anatomy. Like, I understand that frog anatomy is different than, but like, it teaches you about anatomy, which is applicable to many professions in the world, many in the medical profession. And as we see later in the song, we learn, he's like, we should learn more about science in it. Fuck. Apparently, his school didn't have a civics or social studies class, but did have a good physics class. This is pretty much the opposite of what most American public schools are like. Good one. He was never taught what's happening nowadays, but instead was taught about the old American West, which, for the average British person, do British people actually learn about the old American West? Like, hold on, let me Google something real quick. Okay, after some admittedly very brief research, it seems like they fucking don't. Because America, surprisingly enough, unless I guess if you get into World War I and World War II, isn't that fucking important to Britain because they owned a shit ton of other countries. Fucking now. This is just fucking TLDR. Probably better to learn about the laws of your own country rather than the screwed up love life of an insane king who lived over 400 years ago. Except that context gives us religious context to the Protestant movement at the time, where a bunch of churches were separating themselves from the Catholic Church and people were making their own churches. That is why that is important to learn about. The thing is, again, like, I didn't even learn mostly about this. Now, I granted, he's British, so he probably learned a lot more about this than I did, but also he's criticizing the American school system, so fuck him. I'm like, there are things to criticize about the American school system. I don't want, like, people to be like, oh, hey, you're defending American school system, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton to criticize. I just don't think a British person should be doing it. God, that's in my head instead of financial advice. It's trivia about history. Most of the stuff that you learn in history class isn't useless trivia because it is important to learn history. I think that humans actually could do well with learning more about trivia because even if we can't apply it to fucking jobs and shit, we can apply it to reading the news and to recognizing trends in the world. But you know, what do I know? Someone who's lived in the American school system. It's in cursive. Hold on, I want to see what they have to say about the condom line. Except they fucking don't. Yeah, but I feel like that's a lot of the people who are orphans, a lot of the children who are orphaned, the parent couldn't raise them, not because they weren't taught how to raise a kid, but because they didn't plan on having a kid, which condoms help with. So, like, I don't get the point of this line. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Except we mostly learn this in elementary school and maybe a little bit of science in middle school when we have a general science course, which I think it is important to learn because it introduces. Because I also forgot to mention this earlier. Elementary school and middle school, they're kind of like being like, okay, here's a bunch of new shiny things for you to take in. So when you get to high school where you can choose your classes, you can be like, hold on, wait, I found the solar system to be very interesting. I think I want to be an astrologist. And then you can pick an astronomy course in high school. This song is made for middle schoolers. Fuck, man. I'm not gonna continue Let's see. Was there anything rehearsing? He's saying that he didn't have time to learn all these things because he was too busy with something less relevant. In this case, rehearsing cursives. Except one. A lot of people complain about the fact that cursive isn't taught in schools anymore, which I think it should be taught to at least be able to read in cursive because a lot of documents are signed in cursive, and I think it is important to be able to read it, especially when you're fucking pharmacist, fucking trying to read the chicken scratch that doctors fucking write in. But like, I feel like there's time for the other stuff, which there is. There is. This was said in a sad voice because it's just sad. And I can tell that this is unreviewed. The he is mentioning is a method of teaching where you only ask questions? What? No. Here, Dave, I fucking hate that they're referring to him as Dave, but maybe that's what I should have been doing the entire time. Here, Dave states how he wasn't taught about modern medicine, something that could help him far in his life. Cure headaches by getting blood out of the forehead. Well, nowadays it would be more which you're taught about. I feel like it's common sense, especially in America when there's a lot of advertisements about medicine, which I think is dystopian in its own right, but it's there. He's acting like school is the only thing that teaches you shit in life, and it's pissing me off. Okay, I heard with a mental state. Fucking enunciate, fucking Dave. The majority of the UK, except this isn't fucking criticizing the UK. Sorry. And frankly, the rest of the world is very insensitive to mental illness and will often say, for example, that people with bipolar depression just need to be happier. How much respect, but not the mentally ill. Again, I guess that's true, but fucking, I feel like another issue with the empathy, I think another issue with the empathy crisis that we have, at least in America, is that, in other parts of the world, is that we're handing our kids a fucking iPad at 2, and so they get exposed to shit that they really shouldn't, a lot of offensive humor, and since they're fucking stupid, because kids are stupid, they take that offensive humor as fact, and that's how we end up in this state. The thing is, I'm given mental health resources in school. We have had multiple mental health days, or whatever. We had multiple days in middle school where we would just learn about mental health and invisible disabilities. Oh well. The song was fucking stupid. Like and subscribe to my channel, because I'm better than this fucking pedophile. Let's go!